Hey guys, how's it going? We are back here with another stock video for you. The Circle IPO video, which I called out before the up-and-coming IPO of Circle, did very well. What that tells me is you guys like to see that content, and they've done much better than any of my product reviews recently. So I'm going to give the people what they want. They want more stock videos? That's exactly what you're going to get. Let's have a conversation about Palantir. Palantir is not new to anybody at this point. Really, anybody who's investing in more riskier securities knows what Palantir is. It's become a household name in a relatively short period of time. This thing DPO'd at, what was it, $10 or so? Only like 3 or 4 years ago, pre-pandemic boom. It was kind of right before that. And then, went up during the pandemic, and then it kind of crashed back down to single digits, where it stayed through 2022 and 2023, and then in that 2024 recovery period through the bull market now in 25, it has really gone up. It is the single most money I have ever made on a stock is through Palantir. I purchased it in the DPO, a large quantity of shares. So let me just say that now. So I'm heavily indebted to Palantir. So use this information wisely when you hear my opinion, because I've made good money on it. But at the same time, I've done the due diligence for you on the company, guys. With the outstanding rule of 83, this company is growing organically, not through M&A, mergers and acquisition. Organic growth, quarter-over-quarter growth and profit growth and everything like that. Yes, a lot of that profit is interest income, which in a lower, in lower interest rates, that's going to go down. But at the same time, people are going to be putting more money in more risky investments, stuff like that. So it all even out in the end. That's not really a headwind. I think now is a good time to talk about it because the company now, breached its all-time high of over $130. It's down back in the 120s where it's kind of been over the past month. And I know some people see that as a bad thing because it's kind of been stuck during some of the bull movements recently. But you have to remember, Palantir's gone up probably about 1,000% in the past year. So don't forget that. Also, guys, great companies after they had that gigantic boom like the way Palantir did, a reconciliation period, a period of just kind of calmness and flatness is actually not bad, because usually after that hyper growth occurs in stock price, it's either going to do that and cool off in a more calm way, or it's going to collapse, right? And the collapse means that the company's fundamentals doesn't support the valuation. Even though Palantir's forward earnings is the most expensive software company in the world at like a 500 price to earnings or whatever the heck it is. Well, listen, I know it's a little bit expensive, but when people see revolutionary companies where the actual rate of growth is hyperbolic too. Palantir is a special company, and the market sees that. And when we all know billions of dollars, they don't want to miss out on the next big $1 trillion company. This is undoubtedly getting a trillion. I called it. I said Circle reference only a few days ago. I said Circle is going to hit 150 in a week. So we're going to see if that's true when it IPO'd on Thursday. I do think it's going to happen. But Palantir, I think this is a much safer bet. But Palantir will undoubtedly hit $1 trillion. It may take a year or two, but undoubtedly, guys. I used to think 2 billion shares, man, they're diluted, all that stuff. The stock-based compensation has come back into a range. Their share purchase program is like 1 to 2 billion. So at this point, guys, your shares outstanding now per quarter, the growth of that is pretty respectable. It's about even. It's maybe a slight increase, but like for the year, they're going to only have like a 1 or 2% growth. It used to be 5%, 10%. I've looked at the numbers. So this is a dramatic decrease in stock-based compensation thanks to the share buyback. But at only $1 billion share buyback, you obviously what that means is you're still got plenty of capital, working capital, to reinvest in the business and get those crazy multiples, guys. And that's exactly what Palantir needs to do and stuff like that. Yes, the controversy recently may concern some people. It doesn't really concern me. But there was that Wall Street Journal article, right, that came out the day before AIPCon, which, rightfully so, Alex Karp went on CNBC. It's good to see a CEO who's very outspoken in a good way, and basically said that this all stuff was bullshit, which it is all bullshit, so don't worry about that. That's all complete bullshit. They're talking about how they're going to build a governmental database of all Americans. But the bottom line is these government bureaus and agencies have the information already. It's already there. All Palantir is going to do is help the different organizations within the government and their siloed data communicate to each other and help prevent fraud, help the IRS prevent tax evasion, help the FBI investigate people. And yes, there's a subtle argument to be made about privacy. Blah, blah, blah. Let's be honest, people. Privacy is an illusion anyway. Anytime you check your smartphone, anytime you check your computer, the information is tracked. It is. And if somebody really wanted to find the information, they certainly could through the various government bureaus and private companies, private enterprises that track this information too. Let's not pretend here that you have privacy. You don't. The truth is all of our information is stored somewhere, right? Don't say it isn't. It is. But unless you have business, unless you're doing something sketchy, nobody has any reason to ever look at that data. It's just there. Nobody gives a fuck the weird ass porn you're watching, unless it's child porn. But for the most part, nobody gives a flying shit what you buy, what you're doing, as long as it's within the rules. And the people who argue, well, it's my privacy. Well, don't break the law. How about that? Is it that damn hard? No, it's not. Whatever. You could disagree at that point, and I respect different opinions on that subject. But that's just my opinion, bro. I got nothing to hide. I'm not doing anything crazy, bro. I'm just living a normal life. Have the data. I don't really care. At least let me make some money off of my data, and I'm doing it through owning Palantir, right? Don't hate the game, bro. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. This is the game, bro. Data is the new currency in this information age. So take that data and the companies that know how to use data best, Palantir, through Foundry, right? We all love Foundry. We love AIP. We love Gotham. How do you not like to name Gotham, bro? Any Batman reference, bro, is always gonna be cool with me. So but anyway, yes, the New York Times stuff is all bullshit, and I just explained to you why. So don't let that scare you. If anything, buy the small. There's a small dip. It's about a $10 price decline. So definitely go buy the dip if you need to buy the dip. But don't be alarmed, guys. Palantir is a fantastic company. 2 billion shares now. At 300 billion market cap. It's not that crazy actually. You look at Apple with like 15 billion, Nvidia with 10 billion, Tesla with like 10-15 billion. At 2 billion shares, even if they did a split, right? A split, you could see even a 5-for-1 split would only get you to 10 billion. Yes, the stock price probably wouldn't move so much anymore, but with having 5 times the number of shares, especially at the quantity that I have in many other bulls, I mean that's just an ungodly amount of shares. And that's my dream, guys. It's find the big kahuna, which I think Palantir is going to be. Get that share split, guys, and all of a sudden have a crazy number of shares, right? And then just kind of chill, and make some other investments and some dividends and stuff like that. Maybe get some Misty action going, or QQQI or JEPQ as well. But you have to find the big kahuna. You have to get to that level first. And I think Palantir, which has already performed well, still has at least a 3x multiple in it, guys. I do think the Mag 7, guys, as a whole is experiencing some fatigue because they're so diluted at this point. The stock price doesn't really move so much, and I do think innovation for some of them is getting harder and harder to do. I don't think Google or Apple is really doing anything to kind of move the lever, right, guys? I also don't think Tesla is going to be doing anything anytime soon. Elon Musk is a head case, guys, and I hate to say it. I don't think they're doing it. I think people are tired of the Mag 7. People want something maybe a little bit more risky, but with a much higher rate of return. Because the whole market, the way the market works, guys, is what have you done for me recently? There's a recency bias in the market, and I capitalized on that, guys. Don't just buy stocks because of what they've done in the past. And buy stocks that are what they're going to do for you now and in the near future, and then you can have a long-term section too. But realistically, these companies worth $3 trillion now. For most of them, you get to a point where they're so big, I don't know how they're going to get to 6 trillion, 10 trillion, because people are naturally lazy. And all of these engineers that join these companies at a young age, right, they're all now millionaires, right? So it's like, do you still have that drive for that? Most people don't. That's why it's always best to find the next big thing. And once a company has succeeded and has hit trillions of dollars, I feel like they kind of lose that motive, a lot of them. just based on the sheer size of them and all that stuff. So whatever. Palantir is a perfect example of a company now where it's getting bigger. The growth is still there. It's not quite in that super $1 trillion market cap, stuff like that. Some of the engineers, are pretty well off now, guys. I'm not gonna lie. They're not all millionaire yet. They're like kind of 100,000aires, and people still want to work at that range. So it's once you get to the millions, 10 millions, then that's when you may want to chill on a yacht, or just kind of calm down. But for now, Palantir is in a perfect position, guys. I highly, highly recommend it. Do not take this as financial advice. I do not know what I'm talking about. I don't. I am a moron. I am not a fiduciary. I have no fiduciary responsibility, you guys, and stuff like that. So don't take anything I'm saying as a fact. But this is just my opinion. I think Palantir is the gold standard. It's my favorite company in the entire market, guys. And I can tell you now, it has a lot of growth left in it, at least a 3x multiple within the next year or two, in my opinion. And it's a 5-star stock, 10 out of 10. And I love my boy Alex Karp. That's a very important piece. They're a perfect CEO, amazing growth, a great mission behind what they're doing, guys, is a meritocracy and being superior to those Eastern powers and stuff like that. So that's my opinion, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, favorite, put on the notification bell, and please turn off the ad blocker. It would really support me. Make sure you check out my Amazon links I have down below. Check out my Robinhood link to sign up for Robinhood, which gives me a nice little commission when you sign up and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, that's my opinion on the product, guys. Check out my website, pbosonline.com as well. I have all my videos there without any ads. It's hard to go wrong with that. And yeah, guys, enjoy this nice summer day. Make sure you get out there and do something that you want to do. Thank you and bye.